I never believed in the supernatural. Ghosts, demons, haunted houses, it was all nonsense to me. But that was before I moved into the old farmhouse on the edge of town, before I heard the whispers. The house was cheap. Too cheap. And I should have known better. But I was desperate for a fresh start, and the real estate agent assured me it was just a little outdated. Outdated, my ass. The place was a relic, with creaky floorboards, peeling wallpaper, and a draft that seemed to come from nowhere. Still, I convinced myself it was charming. The first night I heard it, I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, when I heard a faint whisper. It was so soft I almost thought I'd imagined it. But then it came again, louder this time. It wasn't a voice exactly, more like the sound of wind through leaves or the rustle of paper. I sat up, my heart pounding, and listened. "Hello?" I called out, my voice trembling. The whispering stopped. I told myself it was just the house settling, or maybe the wind, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. The next night, it happened again. This time, the whisper was clearer, more deliberate. It sounded like it was coming from the corner of the room, just beyond the reach of the dim light from my bedside lamp. I froze, my breath caught in my throat, and listened. "Help me." The voice was faint, almost childlike. But there was something wrong with it, something unnatural. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, sweeping the beam across the room. Nothing. Just shadows and dust. I didn't sleep that night. Over the next few days, the whispers grew louder. They followed me everywhere, in the kitchen, the bathroom, even outside. I couldn't escape them. And then one night, they stopped. At first I was relieved. Maybe it was over. Maybe whatever it was had gotten bored and moved on. But then I realized the silence was worse. It was heavy, oppressive, like the air before a storm. That's when the screaming started. It came from the basement, a high-pitched, agonized wail that made my blood run cold. I tried to ignore it, to tell myself it was just my imagination. But it was too loud, too real. I grabbed a flashlight and a baseball bat and made my way downstairs, my heart pounding in my chest. The basement was dark and damp, the air thick with the smell of mildew. The screaming was deafening now, echoing off the walls. I swung the flashlight around, searching for the source, but there was nothing, just an empty room and the sound of pure, unrelenting terror. And then, as suddenly as it started, the screaming stopped. I stood there, trembling, my ears ringing in the silence. That's when I saw it. In the corner of the room, barely visible in the dim light, was a small figure. It was hunched over, its back to me, and it was whispering. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The figure turned its head slowly, and I saw its face. It wasn't human. Its eyes were black voids. Its mouth stretched into a grotesque grin. It stared at me, and the whispering grew louder, more frantic. I dropped the flashlight and ran, slamming the basement door behind me. I didn't stop running until I was out of the house, out of the yard, and halfway down the road. I didn't look back. I never went back. But sometimes, late at night, I hear the whispers again. They're faint, almost inaudible, but they're there, and I know it's only a matter of time before the screaming starts again, because it screams when it doesn't whisper.